No, the universe makes you recharge. The universe just lets
Okay,
you.
I'm having a technical
It's okay.
difficulty.
Okay. So sometimes you don't see eye to eye with your partner, and so literally it becomes instant karma.
Good thing, don't wreck a good thing. Good thing, don't wreck a good thing.
How's it, friends? And welcome back to another episode of Adam and the Bee. We're going to be talking about growth today. How are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling kind of tired.
Tired?
I'm feeling. Were we talking about? We're talking about growth,
Growth.
but feeling tired. We should probably talk about something else too, right?
Like?
Maybe recharging.
I was wondering where you were going with this. You were like, maybe we should talk about something else.
Before we
Tired. I'm feeling tired. Are you feeling tired?
So for the record, I actually do feel super tired today. Like I feel like it's been a crazy week. I mean, we've been super busy, and as you know, life stops for nobody, right? So we've been pushing.
And if you're wondering why we are maxed out with our stone tongue shirts, it's because we are going to see the Rolling Stones in concert.
Oh snap!
When are we going? On next Sunday. This is not our first time that we've seen them live before, but
Yeah.
very excited to see them again.
Super excited. So Rolling Stones obviously has a role in your family, and that's like the go-to music
This is our jam.
group. Yeah, this is the jam.
This is our jam right here.
The real question is who doesn't like the Stones, though.
That is a great question.
First off,
Comment
if you
below
don't,
if you like the Stones.
and if you don't like the Stones, why you would not like one of the greatest rock
and roll
bands
bands of all time.
And
As Mean Girl would say on the movie, you can't sit with us.
oh no.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I say let's rock and roll with episode
Hey,
6
stole my
of the
line.
podcast.
Let's rock. Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and
Roll. I don't know why I said it like that, but I enjoyed it.
but yeah, I've got to say something about the Stones is just the amount of energy they put into their career. Like it's incredible. I mean, how many years? What is it? Is that 50?
I mean, at this point, it's like
I'm not gonna lie. I just wanted to stare at your chest. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say at this point,
I'm her partner, so I could say that right.
You are?
I hope so. Did I say that like as a question?
No, you were like, I'm her partner, and I just assumed everyone who was listening or watching knows us. So
Well, not everybody's staring at your chest, so it's 50.
They're probably
That's
staring
what
at
it
your
says.
chest.
It says 50 in the tongue.
Exactly.
There you go.
50 in the tongue. But I was gonna say, no, I think the Stones, I mean, I don't even think they have a year put on this. They're gonna be like a unicorn that just doesn't leave Earth. They're just gonna be around. Even if they're not here, they're just gonna live on, forever live on.
What's crazy though is going to the first and only performance I've been to. I think it was 2019. 2021. It was 2019, and Mick Jagger has an energy in his 70s that like nobody can replicate. Like I've got to be honest, like he's one of a kind. Where I probably did like 4 bathroom breaks. Don't get me wrong, I was drinking, but I probably did a bunch of bathroom breaks along the way.
You were drinking liquid like water?
Of course, you got to hydrate.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Again, episode brought to you by water.
As most people who go to a Rolling Stones concert, they just drink water.
Yeah, and the funny thing is he would rock for like 2 hours straight. So kudos to the endurance.
That energy does not die down.
So speaking of energy, we were going to talk about recharging this week, right? So that comes down to like for me personally right now, I can honestly say I'm super tired because we've put a lot of work in this week.
To be fair, we were having a debate before this podcast. We were trying to figure out if we wanted to talk about recharging or development. So we're going to have like a mini debate on the podcast because we couldn't decide and we both were not seeing eye to eye. And we thought, okay, well, let's not just like pretend like we saw eye to eye on a topic. We were like, let's battle it out with a debate.
So we're going to battle it out with a debate, but I will say we did compromise, which is a foundation that we talked about in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
Say so myself.
It's not going to be a for real debate, but we have different viewpoints on the topic that we're going to talk about.
Okay, so let's talk about recharging and what it means to you. Are we talking about this on the personal?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go personal, and then we can talk about how that works in the music as well.
So I don't really know how to lead off with it. I'm just going to talk about what I think about recharging and how important it is.
Yeah, I really want to know, like, what does it mean to you? How are you using it? What are areas that you feel like you can improve upon. Just open up Pandora's box here.
Let's do it. So
BINX's box.
BINX's box. So, BINX's box. That's not open for everybody. So, we're going to talk about recharge. And for me, it's important because I don't recharge. That's one thing I deprive myself of. You found that funny, guy? You were like, I was like, I don't recharge. You were like, no.
No, the universe makes you recharge. The universe just lets you.
Okay, I'm having a technical difficulty.
It's okay. Okay. So sometimes you don't see eye to eye with your partner, and so literally it becomes instant karma. So that's what we're having in this episode. It's a karmic moment.
Technical eyelash difficulty.
The cosmos came out and was like, "Hey, so you don't see eye to eye about this recharge development discussion. Let's go ahead and just put a little something in the eye."
Oh my God. This podcast has been so gross. If you think it's been gross, don't comment below, but rate it 5 stars.
Yes. Comment, subscribe. Don't comment, subscribe.
So I don't even know what we were talking about because
We're talking about recharging, and you were going to discuss why recharging is beneficial.
Is
You were
my
saying that
eye look normal?
you look great.
Because it feels like it's stuck together.
It's all in your head.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like life. It's all in your head.
I had like an
Not just your head.
eyelash
All of us
malfunction.
have that same issue of things being in our heads. But you look great.
Okay, so what were we talking about?
So we were talking about recharging, and you were saying how you don't recharge.
I don't recharge. And that is all I have to say.
Wow, that was a great summary. That might have been the shortest recap that you've ever given. Okay, so
that's when you know I'm tired.
So let's dive deeper into this then. If you were to recharge, what would it look like? And what is your current recharge like? If I can honestly just throw it out to the people, you work yourself to a point where you work so hard. And
I think the
there's
word
kind
we're
of
looking for is work yourself silly.
Yeah, so that crash is almost like that feeling that a coffee drinker would have at like 2 or 3 o'clock, where like energetic, boom.
No,
right?
it's more like
But it comes back together, of course. So the reality is like you have those moments where you work so hard, work through the breaks, work through the whatever.
and I don't know how tired I am because I love what I do. So I just keep going, and then
So I would equate this to the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner.
Mhm.
The two are different. If you look at their builds, the way that they train, it's completely different.
Mhm.
And I said this to a friend of mine as well, is that you and I are honestly sprinters. So a sprinter to me is somebody that works super hard, goes super hard,
all
and then crashes,
and
right?
yeah.
Or not necessarily crash, but like in a small burst, you can get a lot done. And
But think
then
about it, you're more tired when you're sprinting because you're giving everything that you have. You're giving all that you have in the quickest amount of time. You're exhausted at the end of that.
yeah, I feel-
Versus a marathon runner has got good breath control, good balance.
correct. But each one works for its different purposes. I think we talked about this in the past, so we
Have
won't go
we?
too far into it. But either way, the whole concept is for us is finding that balance of like when to run and when to sprint. And
Yes.
for recharging, like what do you feel like you're doing now that's helping you to recharge more
Well, I think
when you do recharge?
when I do recharge, I forget to recharge. I think I'm the kind of person that forgets to take breaks. And I've learned from a lot of books that I've read that successful people take breaks. And I think that's something I need to work on. And I didn't know that taking breaks was something a successful person did. I thought successful people worked themselves silly, worked themselves so hard, and didn't care about their mental health, just went with it. And I started to realize, I was like, oh, taking a break is an art form. To learn to take a break, learn to be
Yeah, it is.
easy on yourself and take time to not, and when I say recharge can come in so many different ways. You can recharge by sleeping. You can recharge by alone time. You can recharge by watching your favorite movie or reading your favorite book or hanging out with friends and taking time away or getting out the house, going on a walk, exercising. Recharging comes in so many different forms. And what I've noticed is, well, I'm not the best sleeper, so I need a good amount of sleep to recharge, but also alone time is really important to recharge yourself, because I think no matter how social or extroverted you are, every person needs that time to themselves. I need
Yeah.
time to reflect. So how would you say how would you need to recharge, and what works best for you with recharging
Yeah,
yourself?
first off, I want to say kudos because you do recognize that there's a value to the whole process of recharging, and that
Might not
comes in
have it
different
handled
forms.
yet, but it's a work in
But
progress.
every day you're working towards that
WIP.
moment. But to me, and this is why I would battle you on that, is recharging is, in my opinion, of course, a reactive approach in more ways than one. That's the end result that comes from overworking yourself. So the root cause of it is not working to that point of exhaustion, taking the breaks, all those things that you talked about, getting the adequate amount of sleep that will prevent. So in some ways we're talking about the same thing, but the general idea is if you catch it on the front end, you won't have that back end experience. And so for what I saw this week, which is crazy, I was running and I've been running to different places. Like I ran a Rodeo Drive the other day and back, which is it's not
And you've
far
been
from where
pushing
we
yourself
live,
really
but
hard. You've been running really far
running far,
every single day. No days off.
not taking a lot of days off, and I overdid it. So day 2, I was running a long run, and I'm like, you
Is
know
it
what?
still hurting? Is it fine?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I pulled like I feel like 2 if I had 4 hamstrings, they'd all be pulled. Like it's terrible. So I ran up Sunset, and I was feeling good. I was feeling great. And I got up Sunset, and there's this like huge incline on the last part as you go
Oh,
from Santa
yes.
Monica Boulevard up to Sunset. And whatever happened, like it was not good. So I ran back down, and then I started kind of like feeling this little pressure in my
Tug.
what felt like my knee, and then bottom line is I overdid it. And a big part of it to me is having the right development. Had I stretched more that day, had I listened to my body on the front end of it, the environment that we put ourselves in when we're going out to perform, that's what's more important to me. So making sure that I'm stretching, make sure that I'm getting adequate hydration. I mean, who knows? It could have been hydration. So all these other elements lead into not needing to recharge. And now I had to take 3 days off to be able to
Because
come
it
back
was
to my
pushed too
routine.
hard versus if you took maybe a little bit more time off or didn't run too fast or too far each day. You never know, but it's just important to have that like you said, development, and I say the recharge of resting, taking a day off.
Yeah, the reality is if you work out and you can handle the weight, well, guess what? It's not going to be a big deal. But if you don't work out and you try to overdo it, of course you're going to ultimately hurt yourself.
So, some tips that I've learned on how to take breaks effectively. I would love to know if you have any tips for us because I obviously need them. Any tips on how are you very scheduled with your breaks, or do you just naturally, when you feel your body needing a break, do you take that break? So, some tips that I've learned is every hour you should take a 5 minute break.
Hmm.
And so basically, I saw something where if you work for 55 minutes, you take a 5 minute break. And somebody gave me this tip. I might have even mentioned it in a previous podcast. Was to clean or do something. So I have like a list of things that I like to do in between working to have like a break. So things that I enjoy doing, like I mean, I don't particularly enjoy cleaning, but if the house is a little bit of a mess, you take 5 minutes, you break from the screen that you're looking at, because we're in the studio a lot, so we're always looking at screens, we're on our phones. You take a 5 minute break, you clean an area. You don't go to the whole house, you just clean a little area in the 5 minutes, you go back to your work. And also in those periods, I like to journal or maybe do a little yoga stretch or breathing exercise. Just little things that remind you to not be like hunched over on your laptop and just
Yeah.
kind of take yourself, step back from being so far into your issues that you or whatever it is you're dealing with or your work.
Yeah.
So taking those little 5 minute breaks are very helpful, and it actually improved my concentration. I actually took a challenge one day, did the little 5 minute breaks, and at the end of the day, my energy was from here to
So your
here.
energy went from here to here.
So my energy was so much better, and I concentrated better, and I was ready to work into the evening versus usually by the end of the day at like 5 p.m. I'm already maxed out, it feels like, because I've been working so hard and didn't take any breaks during the day.
Well, the other element of this is there are certain tasks that you do by yourself, certain tasks that you do with other people, certain collaborations that you're doing. Each one of those requires a different amount of energy. So how do you utilize your circle of friends to recharge and things of that sort as well? Because in more ways than one, if we just do our internal process, it's only going to be it's a bit limiting. Like for me, speaking to my friends, I've got a lot of friends out of state, and having that touch point with them is everything. Or making time to see friends. Like we're both guilty of overworking to a point where some of our local friends have gotten neglected along the way. So we love you, but at the end of the day, we've been putting in the work. But we will come see you soon, because now that COVID is kind of leveled off a little bit, we
Right.
keep moving. So
Yes, exactly. And I was actually gonna say,
I'm thinking about one specific person where I'm like, I need to go see you, man. Like it's up in Sherman Oaks, and
give him a
if
little
if
text.
yeah, I will. If you live in Los Angeles, there's this joke where like the Hollywood Hills like separates the valley, and so if you have any friends in the valley, like
Well, you
you
become so
never
set in
see
your
your
ways in
friends.
LA.
It's terrible.
You just like
I
once
love you
you're
though,
in your
man.
area, you just don't leave your area. It's like in New York, you just if when I was living in New York, if I had to go somewhere that was 30 minutes away, I'd be like, "Oh, that's perfect. 30 minutes away. What a perfect amount of time. Like 30 minutes to myself on the subway, I could write a song, do whatever." And now in LA, it's like if something's 30 minutes away, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like who has time to go 30 minutes away?" It's just crazy. It's all relative, but
To be
I
fair though, the 30-minute rule doesn't always apply. You talked about the comedian that did this, where
mm,
like you had a show recently where it was might have been 40 or
it was
50 miles,
yeah, it was about an hour away, 55 minutes without traffic.
but with traffic, 2 hours
No, it was like 2
and
hours and
change.
20 minutes. It
Yeah.
was insanity. So,
So
yeah, so
it's the LA. The struggle is real out here. Like there's no snow, there's no rain, there's
just a lot of
nothing
cars,
negative except for traffic.
just the cars. And I was gonna say, you know what's really underrated is laughter. You know that like cliche saying where everyone's like, "Oh, laughter is the best medicine." But
That's true.
it literally is a medicine because it's like, what do you do if you get a headache? You take an Advil, you take a pill. What do you do if you're hungry? You're gonna eat food. Like it's just as simple as that. And laughter, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling like your mental health is not 100%, when you're feeling like you need a break, when you pick up the phone and you call a friend and you can find a way to laugh and chit chat and
I'm curious, is there what do you think makes that relationship with your friends, like the laughter, come out more than anything? Is it just the rapport that you guys have, or knowing each other so well and life becomes funnier? I feel the same way with my friends.
well, I think that's oh my friends, I think that's the beautiful thing about friends is that when you think of friends, you think of laughter, you think of happiness, you think of light, you think of
It depends. I got a couple friends I just had to lose along the way, and
well, they're
just
obviously not your friends anymore, but I mean, generally, when you talk to a friend, it's like it's kind of like a safe space where you can both vent or get things out, but you find the humor in it more so than feeling the heaviness of it. Like that's I think such a beautiful like hidden thing about a friendship is friends know how to keep things lighthearted for the other person.
yeah, not taking life too seriously, and giving context to whatever situation. Like more often than not, we're staring at the tree and not the forest that's past it, right? So the friends in our lives become the ones that say, "Hey, there's this beautiful forest, like run and flourish."
Totally. So let us know in the comments below about your friends and how you recharge. Just let us know who your friends are so
Let
we
us know
can
if you
be
have
friends with
friends.
them.
Let's make it easy. If you have friends, comment down below.
In my defense, this room is so hot. I feel like I'm in a desert. Let's get real. I'm ready to take a nap. I am so exhausted being in this room. I don't even know how you're not complaining about how hot it is. So I've lost all
What? I'm sorry, I can't
concentration.
hear because my hearing's gone.
Why is your hearing gone?
It's too hot. Okay, that sounded better in my head. That's how hot it is.
Oh my gosh.
So
I was gonna say, let us know in the comments below how you recharge and
yes,
what your friends do, if there's anything specific that they do to make you feel better.
yeah. For the record, we have no idea what we're doing in terms of like in life, and that's
We are lost.
We're lost.
We are just here to talk about how lost we are.
Yeah, no. On a serious token, though, like there's something called a tabula rasa, which is a clean slate.
Toblerone is what you're looking for.
I like those too. Man, those are my favorite. So the tabula rasa is a clean slate, and so when you strip yourself of whatever identity or what you know, it opens up the path for learning that much more. So when I say we don't know anything, what we want is the people's feedback to learn how to be a better person, a better artist, a better friend, a better partner. Hey, right?
Right.
So that's why this feedback is valuable. But with that said, that comes in another topic, which is really growing together. So we can talk about that in a music context. It can translate to our relationship as well. But what does growing together mean for you?
Growing together is this is so interesting because I mean, I don't have it all figured out. We're 3 years in. We're figuring it out as we go. But we actually ran into a couple at one of my shows, and we absolutely fell in love with them. And they had been together for how many years? Was it 30?
They I think
was-
28 years married, and then 35
Wow.
or somewhere in the 30s.
Well,
married,
they just
or total.
Okay, right. So they were together for a long time, but they had such a zest for each other. And it's so fascinating because we were kind of digging to figure out like what was their secret sauce on how they've kept things for themselves like so alive, and it seems like they've grown together.
Yeah.
And the tips that they were sharing were similar to the things that we shared in a previous episode. So I'm not going to go too much into it, but I think if you're open-minded to growing, and I could be wrong, and you can disagree with me on this, but this is just my opinion. I just feel like when you're set in your ways, it's not really gonna bode well for a relationship.
Yeah.
Because, and maybe for yourself as well, because if there's no room to grow, finding a human or a partner that's just gonna slot into your life and just work the way you work, I don't think the chances of that
Agreed.
happening is really going to happen. You can find so many people on earth that you might connect well with or bring out the best in you, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to have some wiggle room and learn the other person. And if you're going to change something, and it's not to say you have to change yourself, right? You don't have to change anything. There's nothing that says you need to change yourself for someone, be a different person, but there's little things that you give and take and you compromise on, and vice versa.
Yeah, so they talked about being their best friend. And to me, a part of that is accepting somebody, and
Yes, accepting them fully for who they are.
yeah, and that can be challenging, especially in the early stages of a relationship, finding an awareness of who the person actually is, what they represent, being at peace with it. Like I'm not an OCD clean person, but at the same time, I'm not the most messy person, but like I feel accepted with the level of organization that I have. And when you say something to me about, hey, let's get back to that reset the room approach.
He came up with this cool idea. Oh, the battery is about to die, so we're going to hold off on this thought.
Okay.
So I was just talking about resetting the room. He came up with this cool idea of resetting the room. So if you ever make a mess, you come back, reset the room exactly how it was, and that can help solve a lot of arguments.
Well, the idea is when you walk away from a room, leaving it the same way when you entered it. And so it always stays in that same condition.
And you were saying you felt accepted for who you were because we were talking about accepting people fully for who they are and
Yeah,
growing together.
yeah, because they call me the hurricane in the kitchen because
Who's they?
you and me. Let's be honest, it's just us two. But I am a mess. Like there will be mango on the floor. There will be like a grape
Let me
sitting
tell
underneath
you.
the stovetop, a piece of chicken with barbecue sauce off to the side. Like it's
You
a
could serve a
problem.
meal off of your feet from our kitchen. And I'm like one of my pet peeves is things being on your feet in the kitchen. Like that is like one of my things. Like I love when you walk into a kitchen and no crummies stick to your feet. I sound like Monica from Friends where she's like, no crummies.
So what I can appreciate about growing together with you is, I make the mess, you clean it up, and the problem is solved.
Problem solved.
That's all you do. You just balance.
Actually, I think I don't clean anymore. I think because he is so messy that
giving
I
up.
just gave up on it. I was like, I got this. And I was like always cleaning up, picking up afterwards. And then I was like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, I'm maxed out.
You underestimated how dirty I could make.
The thing is, he's
an
making
apartment.
no. You're making it sound like you're super dirty, but you're really not. You're actually one of the cleanest males I have ever come across. His bathroom is pristine. Like when I say pristine, I mean pristine. Like he does not have hair sitting in the drain and like nasty man things going on in there. It's pretty clean for the most part. He's just in the kitchen though. It's hilarious because normally a guy, you know, when you're living with a guy, it's always in the bathroom. Luckily we have 2 bathrooms, so keep mine semi clean. I mean we share all the bathrooms, but
Yeah.
He's very clean in the bathroom, but in the kitchen, let me tell you.
Keep your bathroom clean and your kitchen dirty. That's the advice for episode 6 here.
But anyway, growing together, we digress. Growing together. So I think it's really important to grow because there's a lot of things that I naturally didn't do when I first met Adam, and now that I've been with him, there's a lot of things that I've had to learn to be a little bit more flexible with.
Yeah. Well, first, kudos, because I feel like you accepted me for who I am.
And same for you. You've accepted me as well, fully.
Yeah. So that's a big part of it. And then also being aware of ourselves enough to know that there's more growth that comes along the way. And you've embraced every change that I've made in my life since we've been together. So I would
Aw.
say kudos for embracing that piece as well.
Likewise.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes it's not the best. Like sometimes you really want to go to bed at the same time, and sometimes I just want a gory shoot 'em up
He loves them.
zombie action movie that's just not
And that's where
your
we're
cup of tea.
different. That's where we're different as well. Like I don't like action movies or gory movies. I mean I love a good sci-fi. I love a good fantasy,
Yeah.
comedy. Well, comedy is my go-to. If I'm always in the mood for comedy. So whenever someone's like, "What do you want to watch?" I'm like, "I watch something that's gonna make me laugh." I enjoy laughing, so I enjoy watching funny things or something that's romantic. I'm a hopeless romantic, so I absolutely love. Was that Siri? Oh, I thought Siri. I
No,
thought Siri
I was
interrupted.
honestly checking the time.
Oh,
That
right.
might save people
I was
from
like,
an hour and a half
Siri
conversation.
can never leave me alone with him. She's always just butting into the conversation. She's like, "Yes, Adam." And Alexa too. She's always got her ears open for Adam.
Sometimes it gets serious. I just wanted to plug that in there. So let's talk about growth in a different way. Let's pull out our card of the week and ask our special
Oh
question.
yeah, we gotta.
How does that sound?
Yeah.
So have you ever, man, this is a deep one. Have you ever felt like a complete and utter failure?
I was going to joke and finish the sentence for you and be like, a complete failure, and then you literally said that.
Do you want me to go first on this one or
Yeah, take it away. But we gotta be brief because we're.
Yeah, all good. So for me, I've mentioned this in the past is I played the piano 5-6 days a week, maybe 4 depending on the week. And you have to suck along the way just to get better every single time. So I actually am a failure every single day in some way, shape, or form.
But I wouldn't say it like that.
No, okay. Let's bigger context here though.
You've felt like it, but I wouldn't say that you shouldn't. Maybe not say
Okay.
I am a failure.
You're a
I mean,
words person, so complete and utter failure.
Yes, I take it very
no,
seriously.
but there's definitely one part of my mind that's like,
Where you
man,
feel-
you really need to get this. You really need to get this. And then the moment I turn that switch off and I go, you know what? Let me just focus on the process.
Yeah.
So we've talked about that. So when I focus on the process, you win just by changing your perspective. So I think
Totally.
that instead of, if you're becoming a failure, it's because your vision or your sight is very limited in its concept versus taking that step back and going, "Okay, no, I'm in a path of growth." It's not failure, it's growth.
Because we become so impatient, we just think we've got to know it. It's like trying to learn a language in a day. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, like a lot of it, like the music theory and whatnot, like we talked about, like you learn something or even the mixing techniques. You learn something and then you have to relearn it and then you have to apply it and then you have to find other techniques around it. So in more ways than one. It's repetition is the father of learning. So
Absolutely.
have you ever felt like a complete and utter failure? This is the positivity podcast, by the way, so welcome. If you're
But
just
we're
not
also
joining us.
authentic and we're real and we share both sides of the story.
Absolutely.
So I've mentioned it in previous podcasts where I work myself a lot in a day, and I can often at the end of the day feel like a failure because
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm getting through all the tasks that I need to. So what I need to do to correct that, and this is where I'm going to challenge you guys as well, is to change it to a how can I fix it, right? So how can I stop myself from feeling like a failure at the end of the day? I can not place my value or my result on the amount of tasks that I get done in a day. And that's subconsciously what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I could replace that with if I finish 2 tasks today, I'm a success. Because then when I do 2 tasks, I'll feel like a success and everything else is a bonus.
So what you're saying is make the success threshold so low that you
Yeah,
start
so low because
you're already succeeding.
you're succeeding by waking up and breathing. Like,
And that's a win, right?
it's a win. When you actually come to
if you-
consciousness, that's a success.
and if you think that's not important, try it. Try not breathing and see how long you can go without it and see how
Oh
important
no,
it
please
is.
don't try that. Please don't try that. Time out. But let us know in the comments below the solution to feeling like a failure. So if you feel like a failure in a certain area of your life, let us know the solution to that in the comments below, because it might help somebody else who's reading the comments.
Yeah. So one thing I will say is if you make it a time-based achievement, because in more ways all you have is time. So if you say I'm going to do an hour of this, or I'm going to do 30 minutes of this,
Yes.
not getting the end result, but the amount of time. So that's a big one. And the second thing is, and this is really important for everybody, all you need to do is just go to the music, because the music gives you the answer. So sometimes you just got to quote a lyric from a really good song.
Or
and
do a mantra.
Before we could do that, all I do is win, 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 no matter what.
What? Right?
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. See what I'm saying? So that's all you got to do is just
song is
sing a
that?
happy song. Like play a cheesy 80s song and tell me that you can't. Like that will take you out of your terrible mood.
No
if you're
matter
ever-
what. I'm just...
Anyway,
Anyway,
on to the Golden Chalice.
I was trying to remember who that was. What song that was?
It's a Khaled song. We're going to get copyright infringement if we keep singing it, though.
Oh, right. Okay, you do this because I did the last ones. Oh, no. I meant you hold it.
Oh, I hold it. Okay, let's do this.
Oh, wait, did you pick it last time?
I did pick it last time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, I'll pick it. Okay, so we love our little mantras. Or I especially love them. And this is where my hoarder of words comes in handy, because he tells me I'm a digital hoarder, but I think everyone is.
It's bad.
So I collect the little mantras because it's nice to just kind of pull them out, and sometimes, always they speak to me and they're just what I need to hear in that moment. So
Word.
here we go.
Get it.
I got that. It's hilarious. He's very funny. Okay, so without
Laughter.
gratitude, there is no prosperity.
Gratitude has a huge role in everybody's life.
Without gratitude,
What are you grateful for?
have an attitude of gratitude.
I feel like
Mic drop.
We're talking about the same things. Sorry, guys. Next time. Well, let's get to the rap battle and we'll wrap this thing up.
That's the rap battle, and I just did the mic drop, so it was perfect.
Awesome.
And
That
we're
sound
about to...
effect was intentional.
Okay. Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Okay, so this week I'm going to choose the word since last week you chose it.
Yes. And this is my favorite part of the episode.
We're going to talk about plants.
Plants? This is
I
going to
don't
be
want
fun
to do
because...
plants.
because we
plants or
pronounce the
plants?
word differently.
I'm going to go with plants.
We're going to be rhyming it completely differently. Okay,
Plants.
but fine,
right.
plants.
So,
but I won't say it like that, because when I sing, my accent changes for some reason. Okay, so plants, but plants.
Water the seed. Life is like a plant.
But don't forget to leave the house without your pants.
And if you did, I'd want to see you on the street and take a chance.
No matter how small, you could be as strong as an ant.
If I'm getting royalties, I want it in advance.
If I were a man, then I'd be the man. It's a Taylor Swift lyric.
Are we still rhyming now? I think
Are
we're on
we?
like
Did
two
I just-
different rhyme schemes.
Oh, maybe I just completely
altogether.
checked out. We'll keep going.
Am I running with man or
Isn't
chance?
man like plant? I'd be the man.
Does that qualify? That doesn't qualify.
Let us know in the comments below. But let's keep going. Let's just do one or two more.
Okay. What was the word? Man, hand, plan.
Yeah, I've got one. You go.
I don't know the lead singer of my band,
Baby, I'm your biggest fan.
and
I was gonna make a comment about Stan, but I don't really know.
baby, you hot. I hit you like a frying pan.
Oh, okay.
That's like
I took that completely.
that's completely.
I took that completely the
That's an
wrong way.
old reference to like what was that show? You probably don't even know what that show is.
Baby, I'm quick like Jackie Chan.
And I'm obsessed like Stan. Eminem reference. Two Eminem
No,
references.
that's the Eminem reference I was making when
complete-
I said I wanted to do the Stan thing and I couldn't think.
Did you say Stan?
I did, but I didn't get it out. So
All right. If you're a fan of Eminem or BINX or Mada Adams,
Made Adams
make sure to like, subscribe, comment,
and rate this
holla at your boy.
podcast 5 stars, whether you liked it or not.
And don't just rate and share with your friends, peeps. So I am
Peace.
Adam, aka Mada Adams, MADAATOMS. You can find me on every streaming service. And this is the wonderful, fabulous,
I thought you were gonna say something else.
fantabulous.
BINX official on all my socials and BINX on streaming platforms. Don't forget to follow us at adamandthebee. Thank you guys so much.
You guys are amazing.
You really are.
I was talking about myself.
I was too. I'm looking at myself in the camera. I just
That's the weird part about the podcast, unless it was like a live audience.
yeah.
Well, anyway,
You are fantastic.
until next time, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
Good thing, don't wreck a good thing. Don't wreck a good thing.